Donald Trump changes immigration rules, how OU is making undocumented students feel safe, and a small light at the end of the tunnel for Oklahoma teachers. OU Nightly starts now. The Trump administration has begun its war against undocumented people living in the United States in the form of a sweeping rewrite of immigration enforcement policies.
Now, any immigrant in the country illegally who is charged or convicted of any offense or even suspected of a crime is an enforcement priority, meaning more resources are being put up to find, arrest, and deport undocumented citizens, even if their only offense is crossing the border illegally. Under the Obama administration, immigrants whose only violation was being in the country illegally were typically left alone. Trump's immigration enforcement memo calls for 5,000 new Border Patrol agents, 10,000 immigration and customs enforcement agents, and could give police and jailers the jurisdiction to act as immigration agents.
OU's Undergraduate Student Congress has passed a resolution supporting international and immigrant students. The resolution is intended to show solidarity with students affected by President Trump's temporary travel restrictions. Jabbar Shoemate, vice president of the university community, also issued a statement to reassure students of their safety and value. The resolution passed on a 27-1 vote.
LGBTQ community advocates are expressing frustration with Senate Bill 694. The bill, introduced by Republican Josh Breachin, prohibits local employment and accommodation laws that are stricter than state law. Critics say the proposal allows businesses to discriminate against the LGBT community and others.
The Trump administration is working on new directives on the use of school bathrooms by transgender students. White House spokesman Sean Spicer says the issue is best handled on the local level. Under President Barack Obama, transgender students were allowed to access the restroom with the gender with which they identified, not assigned their gender at birth.
Well, I don't know about you, Carson, but I was sweating getting to class today. It's hot.
It was, unusually hot.
I kind of have to remind myself, it's February.
Right. Sawyer, what can you tell us about this unusual heat?
Yeah, guys, we've been way above normal, and that's going to continue on as we go on into the weekend, or actually Friday, before we have a cold front move through the area and drop temperatures about 20 or 30 degrees in some areas. So our past 12 hours, visible satellite, not really any clouds, just a few high clouds over Oklahoma. Currently outside right now, 82 degrees, those southwest winds at 10 miles an hour. And coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk more about that heat. Then we're going to have that cold front on Friday, and then we'll talk more about the small system maybe at the end of the weekend. More in just a little bit. Till then, back to you.
Thanks, Sawyer. Newly released emails show former Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt was in frequent contact with fossil fuel companies and other special interest groups trying to undermine federal efforts to contain carbon emissions. A judge ordered the emails released yesterday. They are part of 7,500 documents the AG's office withheld for 2 years.
OU Nightly's Joseph Quinton joins us now in the News Center with the latest on President Trump's budget plan. Joseph?
Well, Carson, Capitol Hill Republicans said President Donald Trump is expected to submit a budget plan to Congress in mid-March. The budget will include Trump's recommendation on reforming tax code, agency budgets, and differences in the previous administration's budgets. The plan, which is due on March 14, will not likely be in depth since Trump's budget director was only approved last week. After vandals decimated part of a Jewish cemetery, a Muslim-led group spearheaded a crowdfunding campaign to raise money for the community. The group set a goal of $20,000 and shattered that by raising over $80,000. Along with that, Vice President echoed the sentiment and said he was inspired by the way people rallied around the Jewish community. From Capitol Hill to the cosmos, NASA has discovered 7 new planets that reopened the debate for life away from Earth. The 7 life-supporting hopefuls orbit a dwarf star 40 light years from Earth, which is close enough to study the planets in depth. Whether or not life is found, NASA still has added invaluable research for its quest to find alien life. And Budapest's 2024 Summer Olympic bid is off the table, leaving Los Angeles and Paris as the last 2 potential hosts.
Thank you, Joseph. More budget cuts for Oklahoma. This makes it 3rd statewide cut in 2 years. Now agencies are being asked to cut $34.6 million. These cuts will be in effect until the start of the next budget year, which begins on July 1st. Here are the agencies being hit the hardest. Common Education will have to cut more than $11 million higher. Education more than $4.5 million, and the Department of Human Services needs to cut over $4 million.
And Governor Mary Fallin threw some of the budget cut blame on lawmakers who have denounced her proposed sales tax expansion. Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb even resigned his position on Fallin's cabinet over the tax proposal. Fallin's plan would raise an estimated $840 million to hopefully make a big dent in Oklahoma's current $870 million budget hole.
An effort to raise the tax on cigarettes in Oklahoma is facing a tough fight in the Oklahoma House. The measure needs 75% of the vote in both chambers to pass. The main reason for the more than 100% increase on cigarette taxes is to help Oklahoma out of its budget crisis.
Also at the Capitol, lawmakers are considering a new graduation requirement for Oklahoma high school students. Nightly Shea explains.
It's one of the latest ideas to come from our state legislature, forcing Oklahoma high school students to pass a civics exam to graduate. The exam has 100 questions, and it's the same test that's given to immigrants. And just like immigrants, students must score at least a 60% to pass and to graduate. So I came out on the South Oval to see how OU students measure up. How many amendments does the Constitution have?
20-something. 12?
24.
I have absolutely no idea. 27. The House of Representatives has how many voting members?
40. I don't know. It's by population of each state, but I couldn't give you a number.
Yep, don't know that one either. It's a big number, 435.
Okay.
When was the Declaration of Independence adopted?
1776.
Declaration of Independence adopted? 1776.
Although some students were puzzled by the questions, Shreether thinks it's important for people to know this material.
I think I wish I knew the answers to all of those things, and I don't, which is not good. This is my government, so that's not good that I don't know those things. So yeah, I think it's good for them to know these things.
Shea Smith, OU Nightly.
Students would be able to take the exam as many times as possible in order to pass before graduation. Still ahead on OU Nightly, even with cuts in education, Oklahoma teachers might see more money in their paycheck.
Plus, a local company picks up the slack to help keep arts in the classroom. We'll be right back.
When a budget falls short, cutting art classes seems to be the first to go. OU Nightly's Ashley Brown has the latest on what the community is doing to help out Norman teachers.
Doing art all the time.
Too many students, supplies running out, dried up budget. These are just some of the problems Oklahoma teachers face.
Beyond that budget, we either fundraise or get donations. Oftentimes it just comes out of our pocket.
While the district tries its hardest to keep art programs alive, teachers like Tracy Gibson are far and few between. In Norman, the high schools have 3 art teachers, middle schools have 1, and the elementary schools, they don't have any.
Till we get our budget fixed through the state, I don't see how we're going to have art teachers in the elementary schools in Norman.
Oklahoma is currently ranked 48th in teacher pay, making it even harder for teachers to provide for their classrooms. Within the last year, janitorial staff has also been cut, leaving cleanup in the teachers' hands.
It plays a role in how we have to teach because we have to integrate cleaning into our routine.
Seeing more than 130 students a day, you go through things like glue, and scissors, paint, basic things that these art classes need.
Fowler Toyota saw the need and is hosting an art supply drive asking for the community to help.
A $7,500 donation to Norman Public Schools to purchase the bulk of these supplies, and we want to finish filling out the Tundra by getting $2,500 worth of supplies from the community.
It's a Toyota Tundra full of art supplies, and so it was just like a kid in the candy store.
I hope that these supplies are going to last them through the remainder of this year and on to next year.
Donations can be dropped off at Fowler Toyota in Norman, the city of Norman, and a number of other locations. The supply drive ends March 31st. Ashley Brown, OU Nightly.
The supply list includes things like markers, paint, glue, all supplies that can be bought at any local store.
After months of cuts to education and unsatisfied teachers, public school educators could get a pay raise. House Bill 1114, or the Teacher Pay Bill, is a plan to raise teachers' base pay by $6,000 in 3 years. Some are finding it hard to believe that Oklahoma lawmakers will find a way to pay for the first year's cost of $52 million, while the state is facing a budget shortfall of almost $1 billion. Teachers aren't the only ones who could receive a pay raise. House Bill 1851 calls for certain state employees to get an annual raise of $750. The bill stipulates that only employees who meet or exceed performance standards would be eligible for a raise. Both measures will now move to the full House for consideration.
Pam Ortega joins us now in studio with a buzzing health issue on the horizon. Pam.
Thanks, Sammy. Spring and summer are around the corner, and with warm temperatures come mosquitoes. But luckily for us, researchers are trying to tweak products used to treat mosquito bites. One solution, a chair, retrofitted with fabric-coated mosquito repellent to test effectiveness. Other products, anti-mosquito soap, laundry detergent, clothing containing repellent, and other products on the horizon, footwear and jewelry. One local Oklahoma family is making national headlines when Royce and Carrie Young found out their daughter Eva would be born without a fully grown brain. They decided to keep the baby. Royce posted a heartfelt message about his wife's brave decision to donate the baby's organs on Facebook. The post has been shared more than 6,000 times. And if you guys want to track more of that baby's journey, then you can definitely check out his Facebook page. And apart from that, I wanted to let you guys know that if you're interested in learning more about health, the Take Root Conference is this weekend here on campus.
Perfect. Thank you, Pam. We're going to have to check that out. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah, we definitely will.
Thanks, Pam. Still ahead on OU Nightly, an update on the Sooners baseball team in action right now.
What a great day for baseball. Sawyer Wells is standing by with more on the great weather.
It has been a great day, but it'll be cooling off on Friday. I'll let you know about that right after this. And welcome back to OU Nightly. Now, this was a scene in San Jose, California. Northern California's just got a ton of rain and really kind of, well, knocked part of their drought. So, yeah, they've had to evacuate people, and this has just been really crazy. We talked about the Oroville Dam last week and how that was spilling over its emergency spillway and all that, and they still have some of that going on. Luckily, they're going to get a bit of a break. So San Jose is right around this area, and so past 12 hours, they've got a little rain, but that's going to be moving out of their area. Across the central part of the U.S., really nothing going on. And then there's a system down in Florida that we don't really need to be concerned about because it's moving out of the states. So temperatures right now, though, we're in the lower 80s, upper 70s across most of the area. And then tonight, we're going to cool down a little bit. We're still going to be above normal, though. So we're looking at lower 40s, some 30s up in northwest Oklahoma. And then Elk City is kind of the weird one where it's at 50 degrees. So kind of in between here. And then tomorrow for highs, we're looking at again, just like today, we're going to be in the lower 80s, even maybe some mid to upper 80s, especially down near Lawton and Altus. So with that, we're going to look at what it's looking like for the future. So I talked about that cold front earlier, and that cold front is just to our north and west. That's going to be moving through our area. So this is at Thursday at 7 a.m. Snow back behind it, just hammering up in Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. And the ski resort's going to get a lot of snow. And that's going to move through our area, drop temperatures down into the 50s and the 40s. And so that's going to make a pretty big dent in our temperatures, and then that's going to continue to move on off to the east, and then we'll start to warm back up. And especially the northeast, they're looking at some rain. So unfortunately, when the system moves through, we don't really have a lot of moisture for it, so we're not looking at any rain in our area. But west and the east, they are looking at rain. So it's just kind of a crazy situation altogether. We do need the rain. We still have that drought, especially down to the east and the southeast Oklahoma. So, but we'll look at our 2-day right here. So we got 81 for tomorrow. Gusty winds, though, tomorrow out of the south, maybe up to 20 miles per hour, maybe even over that in some areas, especially down to the south and east. And as we extend that on out, that cold front comes through Friday. We're going to be in the upper 50s, cool down for Saturday again. And then we do have a slight chance of rain on Tuesday as we start to warm back up into the 70s. So we're going back to normal, and then we're going to get back above normal. So it's kind of awkward for this time of year. Spring's already kind of hitting us. Some trees are blooming. Good. It's really crazy.
I think they're as confused as we are with God. Thanks, Sawyer.
Yep, thanks. Well, thanks, Sawyer. Do you believe in miracles? Blakely Durham sure does, and she's standing by with a look at sports. Blakely?
That's right. Thank you, Carson. It's the anniversary of one of the greatest wins ever, and it was a big night for Sooner basketball. The men fought hard in Waco against the number 3 Bears. I'll give you the highlights next. Welcome back to OU Nightly Sports. The men's basketball team lost another close game last night in Waco. The Sooners gave Baylor almost all they could handle, crawling their way back into it in the second half to make it 49-47 after being down by 15. Cameron McGusty led the team with 13 points, and Christian James and Rashard Odoms added 8. Unfortunately, it was not enough in the end, and the Bears went on to win 60-54. The Sooners play again Saturday in Norman against Kansas State at 5 p.m. Tough night for Sooner basketball overall, as the women lost as well to Kansas State 79-71. The Sooners were down 41-25 at halftime, made a comeback in the fourth quarter to get within 1, but they were never able to take the lead. Vivi Pierre-Louise was once again the leading scorer with 21 points and also recorded her 9th double-double of the season. The Sooners will head south this weekend to take on TCU Saturday at 7 p.m. It's a beautiful day outside, perfect for some baseball, and the Sooners are currently taking on Grambling State for the last game of the series. They are in the top of the 6th inning, and the Sooners have blown it out, open to 10-2. The first game of the series yesterday afternoon went well for the Sooners. They trounced Grambling State in a 11-2 win. Jack Flansburgh led the offensive charge with a 2-run homer in the 4th and 3 more runs in the 5th. Devin Perez Jr. pitched his first game for the Sooners and sat down the first 12 batters he faced. He struck out 8 and went on to earn the win. And player of the game, Coach Pete Hughes said he was pleased with the pitcher's performance.
We knew we were going to go short outing with Hanson. You know, then what we got with Devin, he was dominant. He was dominant in the zone. You know, you get 8 punch-outs, no walks, you know, and he definitely allowed ourselves offensively not to panic and just settle in.
Do you believe in miracles? Today is the 37th anniversary of one of the greatest hockey victories of all time.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
The United States defeated the then Soviet Union in the Lake Placid Winter Olympics. Not only did the U.S. beat one of the best hockey teams in the world, they did it with a bunch of college kids. Who knew? It was an upset for the ages and known as one of the greatest underdog stories ever. And it's Wine Wednesday, everybody. Time for our Whiner of the Week. Kentucky head coach John Calipari, you are our winner and whiner. Calipari has sparked headlines a few times this season, but his most recent outburst was on Saturday. Calipari went off in a post-game press conference about the instability of the coaching profession right now, referencing specifically Georgia head coach Mark Fox and recently fired NC State head coach Mark Gottfried. He ranted about how unfair it is to fire a coach in the middle of the season and the unreal expectations of the job. Well, I can maybe get where he's coming from, but at the end of the day, college coaches know the gig. If you don't win, you're out. And most coaches, if fired in the middle of the season, are still paid the rest of their salary, which is, by the way, millions of dollars. So if Coach wants to rant about it, I think he should sit down with a glass of this, guys.
Yeah, I'd get paid millions of dollars to not have to coach.
Right? There you go.
Yeah, thanks, Blakely. Still to come on OU Nightly, Henrietta can now kick off their Sunday shoes.
I'm Abby Green at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Despite large amounts of rainfall across the state, Oklahoma has issued a burn ban in 7 counties. Oklahoma County Board of County Commissioners announced a countywide burn ban for Oklahoma County. The ban will go into effect immediately. For more information, contact the Director of Oklahoma County Emergency Management, David Barnes. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Abby. Henrietta, Oklahoma can kick off their Sunday shoes because dancing in public is now legal. City leaders voted Tuesday to abolish an ordinance that forbids dancing within 500 feet of a place of worship and also prohibits dance halls 500 feet away from a public school. I don't know about you guys, but that's a crazy ban.
I know. Glad they kind of wised up and, you know, abolished
Crazy.
it. So,
hey, Sawyer, how is the weather looking for the rest of
Yeah,
this
so
week?
we're going to be cooling off. We'll still be above normal, but overall, that's about it.
Okay,
Good.
more of the same.
Nice night?
Yep.
Good. All right. Thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College at the University of Oklahoma.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.